You're listening to the Sidewalk Prophet.
Okay. Negative thoughts are trying to keep you out of God's best. Okay, all right, that's a good one. A friend and I had a conversation about negative thinking. Like, when you're trying to go do something or when you're trying to increase or something like that, and you feel all those negative thoughts. You know what I mean? A friend and I were talking about that. And it was real important, the conversation, because the world will tell you that this is normal and all of that you should be apprehensive when you go into something and things like that. But as believers, that's not the case. You know what I mean? We have to learn as believers to set ourselves apart from the world's thinking. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because if you think those negative thoughts come and there's not a price, there is a price. You know what I mean? And so that's why we got to get better. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that person, you know what I mean? Where you going into something or God's trying to increase you and you hear all this negative thinking before you go into it. Because that negative thinking, it comes with a mission, man. It's trying to take you somewhere. You know what I mean? And if you ever want to pay attention to how bad the negative thinking is, when you let those negative thoughts come and they land and they sit on you for a minute, just think about how icky you feel after you've been through all that. Think about how weird you feel when you let all that negative thinking intrude. You know what I mean? How you feel so different. You know what I mean? How you just feel weird. I mean, we believers, man, when we go into something, we want to go into it with the presence of God on us. We want to go into it strong. We want to go into it, with God all on us. You know what I mean? We confident. We're in that place. You know what I mean? That's where we're going to. You want to be in that place. So you don't want negative thinking to come take you somewhere that you're not supposed to be. And I don't believe these things are independent. I believe it's negative forces. You know what I mean? The imps and the demons trying to keep you down. You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep you out of your increase. Trying to keep you out of building the kingdom, because that's what you do. That's what we do primarily, is we build the kingdom. So he's trying to impede the kingdom by just inserting negative thinking when you go into something. So don't just think that stuff is innocent. It's not nothing innocent about it. It has a mission. And we have to become vigilant in shutting that stuff down. You know what I mean? You think about it, man, when you go into something, man, the trajectory of your life, you know what I mean? Your kid's life, your future, whenever an opportunity's on the line, all that's on the line. You know what I mean? So don't just think it's no strange thing when you get negative thinking, man. I'll share this. I remember when I first came back into the electrical trade, I would always receive negative thinking when I got put into a leadership position. So whenever leadership was on the line, I would experience negative thoughts. And it was kind of crazy. I was like, wait a minute, I know I'm a leader. I've been a leader my whole life. I knew I was a leader, but when it came time to lead, I would receive negative thinking. Negative thinking would come at me. You know what I mean? And if I didn't deal with it, of course, it would manifest. But the whole point is, these things aren't independent. The enemy knows what he's doing. He's trying to keep you out of the next step, next level. He's trying to keep you out of increase. And we should treat it as such. You know what I mean? So let me give you an example of what it is when you fellowship with negative thoughts. And this will if I give you this example, and when you see how ridiculous this example is, you'll see how ridiculous it is for you to participate or you allow, I was to say fellowship, you allow your spirit to fellowship with negative thinking. So let's say there's a guy that you didn't like and doesn't respect you, doesn't know how to treat you. And a guy is interested in you, you're a woman, and a guy is interested in you, and he comes over to your house uninvited. Well, that's what negative thinking is like. It's like that guy that's not interested in you, that disrespects you, comes over to your house uninvited. That's what that's like when you allow negative thinking. You know what I mean? Why would you let somebody in your house that's going to disrespect you, devalue you, not give you importance or the time of day, not acknowledge who you truly are? Why would you do that? And so that's the same thing with negative thinking. Why would you allow those thoughts in? And you have to see it in that light. You have to see it in that light. And so what happens is, let's say those negative thoughts or that negative person comes. Do you invite them in and pour them a drink? So when those negative thoughts come, do you just invite them in and welcome and hear what they have to say? Or do you put them out? You know what I mean? Do you choose not to fellowship with them? And so I'm just giving you this analogy so to show you what it's like when you participate with negative thinking. And let's say Jesus, let's say it's positive thoughts when Jesus comes. So Jesus comes, you know what I mean? He respects you. You know what I mean? He loves you. He can see you for who you truly are. You know what I mean? That's different. You got somebody that can see you for who you truly are. And this person comes, now who do you fellowship with? You know that Jesus wants the best for you. You know what I mean? You know he wants the best for you. You know when you fellowship with him, you always feel better and you feel like more of yourself. You see it? You see the difference between the negative thoughts and with Jesus? And see, Jesus is respectful. He's never going to step into your home uninvited. The negative thoughts come uninvited. Jesus is never going to do that. You see that? He's a gentleman. And so, and this is the thing I want to say about this. The more you begin fellowshipping with Jesus just on a regular basis, the more you begin fellowshipping with Jesus in some form or fashion, what happens is you're going to be able to see those negative thoughts, or the bad guy, you're going to be able to see those negative thoughts coming a mile away. You're going to be able to see them coming a mile away. So what happens is, and when those negative thoughts came, we already talked about that. And so, but what you have to do is spend time with Jesus, spend time fellowshipping with him. And what happens is it'll be plain to you when those negative thoughts come. Because what happens is not only do they just mess with you, they're trying to bring you into a different atmosphere, and that's going to be unacceptable to you. So, and this is why this is a big deal. People say this is not a big deal when you have anxious thoughts, and I'm going to tell you why it's a big deal. So let's say you go into a meeting and you're apprehensive and stuff like that, and you're not yourself quite because you're nervous and things like that. Well, this comes with a price. People, the bosses and things like that, the people that are interviewing you and stuff, they're determining, where you're going to be. This determines your trajectory, especially when you first meet people. This determines where you're going to be in the company. This determines your trajectory. So, I mean, this determines whether you're going to be the boss one day or whether you could be getting coffee. So it does make a difference, these negative thoughts. So
thank you for listening to the Sidewalk Prophet Podcast. For questions and comments, please email us at churchpodcasters.gmail.com.